All right, guys, this is your 11.5 notes. As you're taking these notes in your note packet, feel free to pause, rewind, go back if you need to. If I'm going too fast, you can always stop at a certain screen, write down those notes, and then as I continue, you can play the video. Okay, so we're talking volume of pyramids and cones today, and their formulas for the volumes are going to be very similar. First off, you have volume of pyramid, which is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. You could also think of this as the volume is the area of the base times the height divided by 3. Those mean the same thing. Okay, we have two examples to start off with. It says find the volume of the pyramids. We have a square pyramid here, so the volume of this base is just going to be 3 times 3, which of course is 9. The height it gives it to us, which is 6. And so when we put it into our formula, V equals 1/3 base times height, my base I can replace with 9, my height I can replace with 6. 1/3 of 9 is 3, and then times 6 is 18. So the volume of this is 18, and remember we write this as inches cubed. It's cubed for the units when we're talking volume. Next one, number 2, it says the volume, it says the base is a regular hexagon. So we have to remember that a base, when we're finding the area of a regular polygon, it's 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. And this is nice because it gives it to us. It gives us the apothem is 6.92. And our perimeter, well, if one side is 8 and there's 6 of them, it's a hexagon, then 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, so if we multiply this, 1/2 times 6.92 times 48, I think that gives us, let's see, 166.08. But remember, we're not done yet. That's just the area of the base. We also have to take this times the height, which it gives it to us as 12. That's this length. Height is always perpendicular to the base. So our height is 12. And then we need 1/3 of that. So maybe I'll write it like this in parentheses. Okay, so if we do the math here, 1/3 times 166.08 times 12, type it into the calculator, and the volume is 664.32. And this is centimeters, so centimeters cubed. Okay, next slide. Okay, we also have the volume of a cone, which again, very similar. It's the exact same formula, 1/3 base times the height, the area of the base times the height. But we do have to remember that the area of the base when we're talking a cone is a circle. And so you could replace B with pi r squared, which is the area of a circle. Let's try some examples. We have number 1 here. Find the volume of this cone. Well, here our radius is 12.4. So if I want to find the area of the base, I need to do 12.4 squared times pi, or pi r squared. And this gives me a base of, let's see, 153.76 pi. 153.76 pi. Now the height, I need my formula V equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. So I'm going to put a 1/3 out here, and then also multiply this times the height, which is 17.7. Remember, the height's perpendicular to the base. And when I do that math, I think this gives me, let's see, 907.184 pi. Don't forget your pi. If you want, you can multiply that through and you'd get a number that's about 3 times bigger, since pi is 3.14, but I'm not going to do that. We're just going to leave it as millimeters cubed. 907.184 millimeters cubed. Okay, let's look at this next one. This next one has a radius of 1.5, so if I think pi r squared from the area of my base, this is going to be pi times 1.5 squared. 1.5 squared is 2.25. 2.25 pi. That's B. My h is 4, the height of this entire thing. And then if I put that into my formula, V equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. This is going to be 1/3. My area of the base I found is 2.25 pi. And my height was 4. 2.25 times 4 is 9. Okay, so that's nice because now I have 1/3 of 9, which is 3. So this is actually just 3 pi. 3 pi This is inches. 3 pi inches cubed is the volume. All right, next slide. Okay, these are going to get a little bit harder now. So this is on the next page of your notes. And with these ones, when they give you a degree and only one measurement here, we're probably thinking it's either sine, cosine, or tangent. And since we have a right triangle that this makes, and compared to our angle that they give us is 65 degrees, we're looking for r, which is our radius, and they give us the opposite side, which is 16. So my r compared to the 65 is the adjacent side. So adjacent and opposite, that's tangent. So tangent of 65 degrees is going to equal the opposite 16 over the adjacent, oops, not x, r, the adjacent r. Let me switch colors. If I multiply both sides by r, like this, then I get r tangent of 65, oops, 65, equals, those cancel, equals 16. But the r is not by itself yet, so I have to divide by tangent of 65 on both sides, by tangent of 65. Now those cancel, and now r equals 16 over tangent of 65. So 16 divided by tangent of 65. Type that in my calculator is 7.46, and it goes on for a little bit after that, but let's just call it 7.46. 7.46 I can replace with this green line. All right, so once we know that, then I can do the pi r squared for the area of the base. So my base is going to be 7.46 squared times pi, and 7.46 squared times pi, let's see, what is that? It's 55.6515. 65.6515 pi. And then my height, of course, is 16. They give that to us right here. So then I have to put in my formula. V equals 1/3 times the area of my base, which is 65.6515. I'm sorry, that's 55. 55.6515. My apologies. Pi, oh my goodness, pi, and then the height is 16. Okay, so if I lost you there, I just was correcting an error I had. This should be 55, not 65 for the area of the base. So 1/3, 55 times, or 55.6515 pi times 16. If we just type that into our calculator like it looks, you might want to throw the 1/3 in parentheses. This would equal then, this would equal 296.80 pi. Don't forget your pi on that. And this is in feet, so we have feet cubed. Okay, next problem. This is, again, very similar to the last one. Again, we're going to use tangent because they give us the exact same locations. We're trying to find our radius. I'll call it x. So tangent of 70 equals the opposite 25 over the adjacent x. Multiply both sides by x. Here the x's are going to cancel. But the x isn't by itself, so I'm going to divide by tangent of 70 on both sides. Tangent of 70. And so this is going to leave me with x, those cancel, 25 over tangent of 70. If you type that in the calculator, this is x equals, I'm going to call it 9.1. All right, 9.1, rounded a little bit there. And then that's my radius. So pi r squared, or pi times 9.1 squared, is actually 82.81 pi. 82.81 pi. So that's the area of the base, the area of the circle of the cone at the bottom. And if I put that into the entire volume formula, now V equals 1/3 area of the base I just found, 82.81 pi, times the height it gives me up here is 25. Multiply those things together, put it in the calculator, and the volume is 690.08 pi. 690.08 pi, and this is in centimeters, so it's a label of centimeters cubed. Okay, we have a couple of other shapes. These are compound shapes where we put two shapes together. In number 3, we have a bottom shape of a cube. Plus, we have to add these volumes, plus the top shape is a pyramid. Okay, so we know our cube formula is just a side length cube. That's why they call it a cube. And then the pyramid, we can use our formula from today, which is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. So side length cubed in this cube is 6 cubed, and 6 cubed, I believe, is 216. So 6 cubed, yeah, 216. Plus, and then if you look at the top here, this is also interesting because our base is also 6 times 6, which is 36. So you could do this math here. 6 times 6 is 36, but the height is also 6. Well, 36 times 6, 6 times 6 times 6, or 6 cubed like we just did over here, is also going to be 216. So we're really just adding a third of 216. Not 266, 216. Or you could think 216 divided by 3, which is 72. So now it's 216 plus 72, which if I add that plus 216 is 288. 288, this is meters cubed. It's kind of an interesting problem there. Okay, the next one is two cones put together. And these are very similar. They're going to have the same base, the same circular base, but the height of the left cone is 16, the height of the right cone is 18. So if we think left cone plus right cone, then we're going to do our formula, 1/3 area of the base times the height, plus again 1/3 area of the base times the height. Let's see, on the left one and the right one, the area of the base is going to be pi r squared, and my radius is 10. Well, 10 squared is 100. So this is going to be 100 pi for the base. Then the height of the left one is 16. And then over on the right side, it's also going to be 100 pi. However, the height is 18. Okay. So let's see. If we put this in here, 100 times 16 is 1600. 1600 divided by 3 is 533.3 repeating. But then on the other side, you can do a little bit of math. A third of 18 is 6. 6 times 100 is 600. 600. And then in both of these, I need my pi. So 533.3 repeating pi, 600 pi. And if you add those together, this is 1,133.3 repeating pi. Our label is millimeters cubed. Okay, so very similar on both sides. The only difference, if you look at this line, the only difference is we're multiplying times 16 for the height over here and 18 for the height on the right side. Okay, just two more, I think. This one says we want to find this given measurement, and we're looking for x, which is the radius in this case. So if we set up our formula, volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. In this case, it's a cone, so I'm going to actually replace a couple things here. They tell us the volume. The volume is 206, no it's not, it's 2,614 cubic feet equals 1/3. And instead of the area of the base, I'm going to replace this with pi r squared. And instead of x, let's use r here. That's what I'm trying to find, is the radius. That's the height. Okay, they also tell us our height is 13, so I could replace the height with 13. Okay. Now, a couple things I want to multiply through on this right side. Really, all we're doing, this is 1/3 times pi times the radius squared times 13. It's all separate entities, if you will. And the only thing I don't know is the radius, the r. I have a pi button in my calculator. I can type in 1/3, and I can type in 13. So in the calculator, I'm going to type in 1/3 times pi times 13. Okay. Again, you might want to put the 1/3 in parentheses, but it should give you the right answer. And when you do this, this is actually 13.6135. You can go out a few decimal places here since we need to be fairly precise to find r. Oops, r squared. And it still equals on the other side 2614. So if I divide by this 13.6135 number on both sides, 13.6135. So I'm going to take 2614 divided by 13.6135. This gives me 192. I'm going to come up here after I do this division. 192.01. Okay, let's just call it 192 for simplicity's sake. And this equals, everything cancels on the other side except for r squared. So now I can just take the square root of that. The square root of this is going to give me 13.86. So 13.86 equals r, or x if you left it like that. Either way, 13.86 is your answer. Okay, last problem for today's notes. This says the volume of a right cone is 1350 pi cubic meters, and the radius is 18 meters. Find the height of the cone. So very similar. We use our formula, V equals 1/3 area of the base times our height. We can replace this with 1350 pi, 1/3, and then again, let's see, the area of my base is going to be pi r squared. So they give me my radius is 18. So we're going to think of this as 18 squared pi. And we're looking to solve for h. Okay, 18 squared, we can do the math there. 18 squared is 324. So now it's 1/3 times 324 pi times the height. I'm going to take 1/3 times 324. And, oops, 324 divided by 3, and that's 108. So 108 pi times the height equals 1350 pi. And then if I extend the page here, when we divide by 108 pi, you'll notice it cancels on the right side, give me just h, which is what I want. And on the left side, the pi's cancel. So all I can do is do 1350 divided by that 108. And this gives me, this gives me 12.5. 12.5. Okay, so the height of this cone is 12.5. And let's see, what was this? And this was in meters, 12.5. This is just going to be a regular meters because it's the height. That's just a length. It's not a volume. All right, guys, those are your notes for today. Make sure you get those all written down. And then there might be an assignment that's coming